everybody, welcome back to the homestead. Today we're going to be putting a air regulator on the laser engraver. So to start the install, to put the bracket on, it was just 2 screws in the side there, and the air hose is already run out of the machine. So what we're going to do is do something a little different from probably most people do. I don't know if you can see it. I'll point the camera down. I have a small air compressor from Harbor Freight that I've had for years, and since I got my stand-up one in the garage, really haven't used it. So that's going to live down here in the bottom of this machine. We're going to tear it apart and get the hoses converted over to this 1/4 inch line so we can run our laser engraver. Alright, so this is what comes in the box here. You get your air regulator, and it's just a simple pull up the cap, adjust it how you want to adjust it, and this is the gauge that comes with it. And this is on Amazon. It's fairly cheap. There's like 1 million of them on there. I think I paid like 25 bucks for this. Comes with a few fittings here, actual air hose fittings, adapters, and then it comes with one little tiny 1/4 inch, which I don't know what that would be used for. Nothing we're going to use today. Bracket and the instructions. So it's pretty self-explanatory how this goes together. Down here at the bottom is my Harbor Freight air compressor, so we are going to start down here, the air source. Get this off. Alright. Compressor fittings off. We're not going to use that. We'll save that for something else. I am going to come over here to my box of fittings, and I'm going to find one that is that same size. Alright. I always screw this up. You're supposed to go opposite of the way the threads turn when you're tightening it. See if I can remember how this goes. Yeah, just like so. And you want to kind of stretch it tight across your threads there so they get down in there and seal everything up good. Give it about 2 or 3 wraps. Try not to go over the end there where the air is coming out. You'll just block everything up, or it'll tear off and make a mess inside your filter. When you get to the end, pull it real tight and snap it off. And I do believe these are 14 mil. Yeah, so we're going to use 14 mil, put it in and tighten it down. Alright, we're all snugged up on that end. Let me slide this back where I want it. Very simply going to take blue hose here. Find the end. We're going to run it down to our compressor. And they just plug in those fittings. You just push them in. I'll show you with a closer one. You push them right in there and they are good to go. They lock right in. When you want to take them out, you push on the blue part and pull, and they pop right out. So it's a clamp fitting. Alright, when we get to this point, this handy dandy little kit I got has one of these pipe cutters, I guess you'd call it, for this hose. We will bring this around here and figure out a decent length. And you just put it down the slot. You spin it away from you. This come with the kit, so it ain't the best. Huh. Oh, we're almost through. Let's see if I can this last little bit. All right. Gives you a pretty clean cut. What I'm going to do, take one of these two-way adapters. I'm plugging right into here. Like I said, you just push them in, and it's in there. It's snug. So what I'm going to do then later on is come off another piece, and we are going to have a nozzle on there to clean our bed and stuff off. But from that point forward, I am then going to stick this back in one side. Take any excess we may have and put back there. I'd like to keep a little extra on there in case something changes. All right, so this is going to go to our regulator. Now the regulator, you got to, of course, tape everything up on this as well. So there's a little thread on the back of that. Start here. I'm sure there's plumbers out there just cringing. And you're going to wrap away. And again, try to keep it off the end there. If I'm not doing something correct, feel free to let me know. Leave something down in the comments there, because you know I'm a farmer. A lot of stuff we do is out of necessity. I don't know anything. I just learn how to do most everything. Probably not correct. All right, we get enough on there to give it a good seal. We get it on, make sure it's down in threads. And we're going to find the small hole in the front there, and we're going to hand thread it in. All right, this thing is, like I said, not real high quality. So I think we're going to start out hand tight. I want to make sure I get my gauge right side up so I can read it. All right, just like that. Next, what I'm going to do is find the inside, and these are labeled in and out. And we're going to tape up another fitting to go on the inside where our line is coming in. There again, you wrap it, you go away from yourself. Kind of got to keep a hold of it till it starts to bite in there. That's the hardest part. Just keeping that from wrinkling all up and a good bite so you can get it started there. You go around it 2 or 3 times. Pull and snap it. All right, we're going to thread it in. We're going to take our 14 mil. We're going to snug that up. Said not too tight. Everything's plastic on this thing. All right, we are snugged. Plastic nut on top of this. It's going to come out. That's going to allow you to keep this bracket in here, or keep this in the bracket. Hopefully you can see that just slides down over top the cap, and we're going to eventually snug that up. We're going to get it hand tight. I think that's probably all we're going to do is hand tighten it. There is a little nub on the back of this bracket. When it gets close to tight, it kind of holds the nut for you. That way it doesn't just vibrate loose. All right, I think that's all the tighter we're going to go. I'm going to take my tubing again, and I'm just going to cut off a little bit. Don't need a whole lot because this is just going to the regulator. Try turning it toward me this time, maybe it'll cut better. Seems like it's staying in the groove there. Like I said, I could probably use my pocket knife, a utility knife, but I'm using what come with it. Alright, there's our good clean end. Just plug it right into this fitting we put in. Boom. Alright. So now, I had to buy some extra fittings because they just give you a handful of odd fittings here. So, I bought me extra ones. And by the way, I paid my money for all this stuff. I'm not sponsoring any of it. It's all Amazon Chinese made stuff. It's not high-end stuff. You can probably pick some of this up at Harbor Freight. Any place that deals in air compressors, I guess air brushes, anything along those lines, you can probably find this stuff. Went backwards again. These come with a little bit of, looks like sealant or tape on them. It's not very much, so I'm also going to tape them. Alright, snap that off. We're going to thread it right here in our hole. And take our 14 mil and lock that down. Kind of crammed in this corner here. Alright, so I'll tighter going with that. Okay, then the out is going to go to the machine. So now that's plugged in. And what I'll do here, when we get all set, I will open this up and show you where it goes into the machine. There's just a hose that goes underneath across the back into a regulator type switch that the machine tells to turn on when it wants air, and it blows through a nozzle on the tip of the laser there. So we got to get this plugged up or we will have an air leak when I turn this on. So we're going to get us an air hose here. We're going to plug it into there. Get some of the stuff out of my way. I don't need this anymore. Sorry I'm breathing heavy. It's 30 degrees in the garage right now. I just got a fire going. Nose is getting plugged up. Alright, and I'm going to run me enough. You probably can't see me, but I'm going to run me enough to go to the other side of the machine here. And I am going to cut that off. After I throw it on the floor. Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna have to see if I have a female one of those. Did not think that all the way through. Oh, right on top. Or do I need one of these? I need a chuck, is what I need. That chuck is a male. That one is a female. Yes. I'm going to try one of these not taping it with it's already pre-taped, see if it don't leak. This one's easier to tear apart and put back together if it does leak. Actually, I'll pop this off and show you how easy these are. You just pull back on that black ring and the pipe comes right out. And I'm going to tighten this up with my 14. And my channel locks, I'll hold it with that. Run that fitting right in. Take the end of our air hose and we're going to plug that right back in. Okay. So we are pretty much set right now. Let me clean some of this up. Separate my fittings here, put them there. These over here, these over here, that there. Alright, to explain how I did this now, coming out of the air compressor, I of course put this split before my regulator because I don't want my air regulated on my nozzle. That should come out of whatever, 100 pounds, whatever my air compressor is putting out. From here, I can regulate this down to 10-15 pounds for the machine, and that way we're not going above what the machine calls for air pressure. So hopefully this works. I'm going to have to make me a bracket or some way to hang this on the side here. For now, we'll just lay it there. And I will grab an air nozzle. Right. Yeah, we take our air nozzle here, plug it in the chuck, and we got a good tight fit. So I'm going to turn it on. It's going to be loud for a minute. Alright, right now, coming out of the compressor, I got to go plug it in. Apparently I didn't plug it in. Got about 85 pounds of pressure in these lines right now. So I'm going to pop the cap up. I believe you turn it right. No. Turn it left. Well, actually that is right. Your left. And we're going to pop this gauge up to about, let's say that's about 15 right there. Again, not a real good gauge, and just guesstimate there from what it's on it. And let me plug the compressor in. Okay, right here's the nozzle, your laser. This hose that comes down, this black hose, that is your actual air nozzle. Of course, it's not going to let air out until the machine calls for it. But we got a nozzle here now. We can spray all the burnt stuff out of our bed. all the little cutout pieces, dust, anything that was behind. I'm just draining this air tank. That's why you hear it go down. The compressor not kicking in. So that's going to come in real handy for us when we're doing multiple projects. Let the pressure pump back up here and make sure we have no air leaks before we complete this project. All right, we are up just a little past 100, so I don't think I hear any air leaks, but I don't have the best of hearing. But to kind of give you a route, there's your line, comes out of the side there, comes up through right here on the cabinet. Sorry to punch in the face there. Comes to the back side of our regulator there. There's our regulator gauge. Let me back out. Our regulator. We went through this splitter to get to the regulator and split off to our regular air hose and come out and back into the cabinet, into the nozzle laser. So that's pretty much how this whole system goes together. Very easy. It's like putting Legos together. It's not hard at all. And see, here's our nozzle. A little bit of air. Enough for what we need to do there. Not going to be pumping up any tires or anything with it. So our engraver, it's coming along pretty good. So we got our own air now, self-contained in there. I don't got to stretch a hose across the garage, and we're ready to rock on this thing. Hopefully here soon I can video the boy doing some projects that he wants to do. You know, he's got a lot of stuff going. There's his lathe there. He does some woodworking, cups, bowls, things like that. So we'll get some content rolling here. Everybody has real jobs and stuff, so it might take a minute.